Hello everyone,
A fucking
VB
long
long
neck
neck here, and today we're in the season of the year where we begin to move to the next year, and what better way to go on with that than to look at this year's best. Yep, it's my Game of the Year 2018 list. As usual, I do this in a bit of a list form, starting from my 5th favourite game this year all the way to my 1st. And before giving out my Game of the Year, I also like to give some mentions to games that I didn't get around to playing this year, but I have heard a lot of good stuff about. Anyway, let's get this out of the way with starting with number 5. This year has given us a lot of games of wide variety, especially in the indie scene, and one game that was constantly being given praise all the way up to and after releasing from early access this January was none other than Subnautica. Yeah, this game is extremely unique, setting itself in a wide vast ocean for you to explore with small bits of land scattered around, but for the most part it's just the ocean, and boy isn't it fun and extremely intense. Where the game shines is how well it manages to scare you and catch you off guard. It's not really a horror at its core, but when you dwell deeper it is, and honestly it's really fun. Not only that, but the base building is extremely enjoyable. Learning about new species is also enjoyable. This game is probably one of the best early access games to release ever, and not only that, but the developer Unknown Worlds Entertainment is also still supporting the game way after its release. If that's not worthy of a nomination, I don't know what is. At number 4, we have none other than Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Yeah, this one's going to confuse a lot and definitely leave some angry comments. I too was enraged about the fact that there was no campaign for this game, and I was basically done with COD way before that happened. For the first time ever, I decided to completely skip over a COD release with World War II. I still haven't played that, and yes, that does mean I've played Infinite Warfare, which also won my worst game of 2016, so yeah, that's fun. But somehow Black Ops 4 manages to work. The multiplayer is debatably the best it's ever been. The lack of regenerating health does multiplayer wonders. It makes it feel more fresh, something COD has been needing since Ghosts or even Modern Warfare 3. The maps, whilst not exactly in the same league as Black Ops 1 or Modern Warfare 2 maps, are still very good. The specialists feel more refined than ever, and hell, it doesn't end there. Zombies is quite possibly the most fun it's ever been. The map IX is definitely one of the best zombie maps out there for COD. And not only that, but somehow the Battle Royale mode, also known as Blackout, is possibly the best Battle Royale mode I've ever played. It's extremely fun, and it works really well with the COD formula. If anything, this COD could have been the ultimate package if it wasn't for the lack of the campaign. It really does hurt the product, but hopefully with the next COD we can have all of this perfected, and maybe it could even put COD in the same position that it hasn't been since Black Ops 2. Third for this list is none other than Far Cry 5. Definitely a big change to Far Cry this year. We're seeing a lot of elements usually found in Far Cry games thanks to Far Cry 3 disappear, one being towers. And honestly, it got me. I feel like it did a great thing for the series. It really does feel fresh now. It doesn't feel like Far Cry 3.5 such as Far Cry 4 did. It feels like its own game. And this is further enhanced by the world and environment, which I'm going to go on a stretch and say is debatably the nicest looking world created in a video game this year. It's so pretty to look at. Hell, doing stuff in Far Cry 5 such as catching outposts, hunting, or just causing chaos is just as fun as it's ever been. I feel like there's not much to say about it that hasn't been said by many others. It really is a big game with lots of hours of fun, further enhanced by its arcade modes, which does sadly fall flat at times, but it's still fun to play with people. I guess the last thing to say is, don't go into this game expecting a brilliant story. It's passable really, and again bars the game down, but still it's a great game gameplay wise, so you can sort of get past that. Second, and my runner-up to my Game of the Year this year, is a game that actually had the Game of the Year basically sold to it until extremely recently, and that is a game that people were waiting years for, and somehow, even with all this hype that was built up around it, it didn't disappoint, even exceeding expectations, and it's Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah, this game is great. The attention to detail in this game is actually insane. Like, just small stuff such as testicles of horses changing size depending on the temperature. Like, what the fuck? The story in this game is superb, but really it's Rockstar. We knew it was going to be. The world feels alive and is beautiful. The characters are memorable. The gunplay is so satisfying. Really, Red Dead Redemption 2 is just the culmination of the best of Rockstar all into one product. Now, to avoid bogging down the game's rating or anything, I'm not including Red Dead Online, mostly because I haven't actually played it yet. It's not my interest, but Red Dead Redemption 2 itself is a near perfect. And if there was one big criticism I could actually give to it, it's that the game could be a bit too brutal at times with its survival elements. And really, that's just a personal gripe more than anything. But before we get to my Game of the Year 2018 winner, let's mention a few games that I didn't get around to playing this year, or did but just missed out on a nomination. First, there's No Man's Sky Next, which is actually the only game that I played this year out of these mentions. It's not really a this year release, but it did come out to the Xbox One for the first time this year, and the update was so big it basically made it a new game, officially adding in multiplayer, which was a massive thing, and it did the game the worlds of wonders. And then there were games that have been getting praise all across the board from loads of people. Obviously there's God of War, there's Spider-Man PS4, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Forza Horizon 4 and Dead Cells. Again, I didn't get around to these games, but I've heard so much good things about them, I'd say give them a look at and maybe even a purchase. But we're finally here at my Game of the Year 2018 winner. And honestly, this was just barely above Red Dead Redemption 2, and it was really close to the end of the year when it released, and let's not beat around the bush, it's Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Yeah, it had to be for me. I'm not a fan of the fighting game genre. I never got into Street Fighter or Injustice or Mortal Kombat, so I have no idea what interested me into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. If it was the simplicity of it compared to those titles or something, it might have been, but what can I say? It exceeded my expectations by miles. This game is extremely addictive, and like the game says, it is the ultimate Super Smash Bros. Game. The single player in this game is superb. I sunk 35 hours into it and I'm still going. I can't even see the end yet with it, which is insane for a fighting game especially. Playing it with friends is easily the best part of the game though. It's where it shines like crazy. I'd even say it's even better than Mario Kart for just playing with friends, you know. Just everything in this game feels fine-tuned, and it's, again, the ultimate fighting game, with my only gripe being, and it's very minuscule, being the online servers aren't always brilliant. But if you've got this game for single player or to play with friends locally, I promise you, this is the most enjoyable game to play. Hell, I'd say it's the best game on the Switch, which says a lot. Anyway though, that is it for my Game of the Year list. If you want to stick around for more of my future content, then don't forget to subscribe. Hell, even like the video if you liked it. And definitely comment down below what your opinion of this list was, maybe even your Game of the Year for this year. I'm always intrigued about what you got to say. And as always, I'm also making another biggest fails of the year list, which will also include my worst Game of the Year award, but also I'm making another most anticipated games list for 2019, which is going to be up very soon.